it's too late. We've already started. That's all going in.
Oh my God.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Outlaw Picks podcast. Today we are sponsored. Well, today we're talking about UFC 278, which we'll get into in a moment. We are sponsored today by the Crystal Council. You can see these lovely shirts. They have all kinds of treasure on there. They've just sent us a box full of treasure, and it is amazing. You know, we love stones and crystals and minerals in this house. Go and check them out. Thecrystalcouncil.com is their website, and they have an amazing selection of crystals and jewelry and subscription boxes that you can do where you get a whole setup of stuff, and they've got cool books. They sent us some books as well. Very, very cool. Check them out.
Their app is cool too.
Their app is very cool, and everyone loves an app. Thecrystalcouncil.com. Go and check them out. And also our friends at Canna Carts. They have a bunch of new flavors, which I think went live today as we're recording. Guava Gelato, Tangerine Dream, Rainbow Belts, and Super Lemon, which you know is going to be my favorite. This is the best CBD that you're going to find. It is a full ceramic cartridge. You can buy the full setup, which is this, and the little charging thingamajiggery for your USB. And you get a cartridge with it, of course, and then you can get the refill cartridges on their own as well, obviously, for less than the full setup. If you use the code OUTLAWCBD, you will get £5 off, I believe, whatever you're buying. So make sure you check them out. Cannacarts.uk. It's very, very good stuff. Okay. UFC 278.
Yeah.
Right. So, are we going off Tapology?
Yeah, off Tapology.
Am I going to refresh this and it's going to be different again?
Well, it was yesterday. It was quite annoying because I had to change all my notes. I had to copy, paste, move them.
Okay. First fight at the card. Yeah. Victor Altamirano against Daniel Da Silva. Mm-hmm. Okay, where's my tail of the tape? Where's my... I'm all twisted around because I've just done the war rooms. Okay, view matchup. There we are. So, 11-3 for Daniel Da Silva, 10-2 for Victor Altamirano. 2-inch height advantage for Altamirano, but the reach is the same. Both listed as switch stance fighters, which I'm hoping at some point in the next few years, the idea of putting stance in there will just kind of dissolve, which would show some progress. Higher striking output is on the side of Victor Altamirano. I'm going to keep doing that. 5.97. 72% takedown offense as well for him. This is a good little banger to open the card up. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I like this one.
Yeah?
I like Victor. I feel like he's very intelligent.
Yeah, but he has got crazy eyes still.
Yeah, crazy eyes, but he's an intelligent guy. He's playing the cello, he's very articulate.
He plays the cello, yeah.
Yeah, he's been playing it for over a year now.
Wow.
He just picked it up from, I think, his aunt's house and started taking lessons, and then after a fight saved up for a big one. Right? Yeah, he's really into it.
Of all the instruments you're going to choose though, it's not like he can take his instrument traveling with him on fight week, is it?
Yeah, that's true.
That's
you're
the
not
problem.
Allowed. But if you're the asshole playing some instrument in your room at a hotel,
especially a cello, you think you're going down on a boat. Can you imagine you waking up from a nap and hearing that? You'll be like, oh shit, fuck, the Titanic's going down. Dude, what are you doing? Find it relaxing. Okay, well, everybody else thinks it's a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do like them. I tell you what I always remember is Pete Steele out of Typo Negative holding one as a bass guitar, because he was a huge dude. He was like 6'5", fucking big hench dude, and he had this cello on a chain in the music video, and he was playing it like an electric bass. It looked so cool. It was a very, very cool thing. But they are massive.
They are massive,
especially considering he's a flyweight.
Yeah, it is pretty big.
I wonder if the UFC paid to transport it for fight week.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
So
Strong
anyway,
fingers though, good grip.
Yeah.
I bet he can strangle a dude with one hand. Can you imagine? Oh, and Jamie's taking photos. Hi.
I don't know where to look.
Okay, what do you think? Who's going to win?
Okay,
El Magnifico. What a great nickname.
Yes. So they're both from Dana
some
White.
CBD and calm myself down a bit.
Yeah.
Too much caffeine today.
They're both from Dana White's Contender Series. Wait, no, they're not. Sorry. In Victor's fight, he was fighting in Dana White's Contender Series, and they both got the contract. So that's just, it goes to show you how much of an exciting fighter he is for both of them to get that contract. He seems to really like to implement the Mexican boxing style.
Yeah.
Although also with like a Lomachenko twist, because that's his favorite boxer. You know, he says he watches him a lot and like tries to replicate that stuff. And yeah, I feel like he has really good submissions off his back. He also strikes frames to like back fist to like elbow.
So he was initially fighting Jake Hadley.
Yes.
And Jake Hadley's injured.
Yes. This was the only change in the card, believe it or not.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I was so surprised. I was just waiting to research for it.
He's a good scrap. I mean, he has a lot of close fights, though. I mean, I'm looking down his record. Like, even as an amateur, his first amateur bout was a split decision. Split decision, unanimous decision, 2 losses by rear naked choke, a majority decision, 1 by triangle choke, lost by rear naked choke. So 3 rear naked choke losses in his amateur career. Was he 4-3?
Yeah. And 1 in his pro.
And he fought someone called Dylan Doolittle. I wonder if he can talk to animals. And he also fought someone called Jonathan Davis. I wonder if it's the lead singer out of Korn. All kinds of questions. Mar Vincent, is that a name? Mar Vincent Williams. I've never heard that name before. Never heard that name before. John Camaro. He's fought some guys with some cool names, I will say that. Anyway, we're veering massively off topic, and it's the first fight of the night.
It saying,
oh, all right, let's play the blame game.
You said it to like towards me,
My
like
goodness.
I talk a bunch of crap.
So here's a question for you: like when you see someone's amateur record and they're 4-3, and they're coming off a first round rear naked choke loss, how do you then go, I'm just going to turn pro? Fuck it, I'll just go pro. I don't get that. Like, because there wasn't much time. There was like 6 months between the 2 fights. And they were both on LFA. LFA 14, he lost to Jordan Carmona. And then LFA 28, he made his pro debut against Jesus Martinez.
Yeah.
But then he went on a streak, didn't he? He's got heel hook,
sometimes
armbar.
You just have to get your ass on the bike and go.
Oh, is that it?
And not wait like, oh, amateur, let me get this other fight. Let me wait 6 more months. Let me have 3 canceled fights. Let me have a pullout. Let me have an injury. Man, you got to freaking go because in this sport, you get a fight every, not often.
He was pretty busy in the first couple of years of his career.
Yeah, maybe that's what he needed.
Very true. So then he went, turned pro, heel hook, armbar, decision, DAS, stoppage from strikes, another decision, then lost to Jared Brooks, which of course is not a bad loss to have. I mean, he's a very tough individual. Split decision, triangle, unanimous decision, triangle on the contender series, split decision on the contender series, and then he's just lost a split decision. A lot of close fights, leaves himself open quite a lot.
Well, that's what you get when you're have that like Mexican style boxing and you're small.
It's so risky to do that though with the small gloves on. Like it works all right if you got a nice pair of 10-ounce horsehair Cleto Reyes on.
Yeah.
But when you got 4-ounce gloves on and people can throw kicks and stuff as well, it's just
it's something that Daniel da Silva's good at. He's really great with his kicks.
Although that knee bar he got caught in by Figueiredo. I know we're going to talk about him in a minute, but that was so slick. He just looked way out of his depth in that fight for the minute 20 that it lasted. Which way are you going on this one?
Well, we haven't talked anything about Daniel. So
well, tell me about him. Tell me about him.
Great
He's
kicks.
coming off 2 losses.
Yeah. All right. Jesus. But they were the tough people. The issue with this flyweight division is every fight you have is top 10 type
Everyone is tough.
It's not as deep as the other divisions, so you don't have these fights where you can warm up to UFC. You'll straight someone top 10, or that should be. So anyway, he catches really great arm bars from guard. He's very explosive. But I just saw him looked very labored in that second round against Jeff Molina. Mm-hmm. It started. I know he got caught and everything, and the fight finished. But he just looked very labored at the start of it. So I don't know if it's either a little bit too much weight cutting or something, or just because he starts so explosive. But I see Victor taking it though.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be a decision. I could see him winning by split decision, because I think Da Silva. I I think his striking's good enough to be able to land a decent amount of times. I just think that Victor will just push him back and outpoint him.
Mm-hmm.
Good little one to open the card up. Okay, so we're going the same way, are we? We're both going with Victor Altamirano.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Next up, moving into the bantamweight division, we have... Oh, go on, say it right. Aori Qileng against Jay Perrin.
Mm-hmm.
So, hang on a minute. Where's my stats? I'm a bit behind. Okay, so 22-9 for Aori Qileng and 10-5 for Jay Perrin. Both 5'7". Aori Qileng has a 2-inch reach advantage at 67. Takedown offense is going to be a key in this one for Aori Qileng because Jay Perrin's going to try and close him down, isn't he? Especially with Aori Qileng coming off that finish.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
So I was listening to an interview by Jay, right? And he's training at Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
He's training a lot with Merab. He's Merab's main sparring partner, so that has given him a lot of confidence. I also heard him talk a little bit about that fight with Mario. And just, this is kind of like what I was saying. You walk in there and it's straight with a guy that should be in at least the top 10.
Yeah. Didn't he get hurt with a body shot in that fight? Was that the third round? He got caught with a body shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. See that, and that's what Aori Qileng's
But
last
no,
fight started with.
Jay did the body shot.
Did he?
Yeah.
What, on Batista?
Yeah, I think so.
I've watched too many fights this week.
Yeah, me too. No, but like he has really good lead body hooks,
Right.
which he did versus Mario, and I think that's something that's going to help him in this fight. Because he was just saying, he doesn't do very good off the back foot, and I've never taken a step back, which he did, but that's just a weird thing to say. What if you got slip? You just be like, no, shield. Like,
I don't know. I mean,
so
we did
what?
see Nate Landwehr earlier this week. I mean,
that's when you're like cardio king, though.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm blocking my face because you're gonna get exhausted. Anyway, but like I get the point of what he was saying, which is he wants to pressure Aori Qileng and use his body shots, and he thinks he's going to stop him in the second round. Very good grappling. And the one thing that I see a little bit consistent of people from the Shanghai Institute is that the grappling is lacking a little bit in comparison to these very high levels.
Yeah. Do you think that's just the general standard in China, though?
Yeah, I think so. Just because it's not as accessible, I think they're going to catch up, soon, eventually, quickly, because they're investing money in it.
Yeah.
But grappling takes a little bit of time to, especially because there's so many tricks involved, and you can.
I mean, you got to think if you're in China, you got to jump through some hoops just to be listening to this on YouTube. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Your access to good shit on internet as far as information goes, you're not going to get much, are you?
Yeah. It was funny because he was fighting, and then DC went like, this is what happened when guys lose weight, and then, they're like in their natural weight class because they don't want to cut. And then he got interrupted. He was like, oh no, he went up a weight class. And then he was like, and this is what happens when guys go up to their natural weight class.
Just edit that, guys. Just edit that.
He just said like it could go either way. It kind of made me realize the thing with weight it really is dependent on each fighter and what there is. And I feel like this is something that has helped them because, like I said, in the Shanghai, they also are very... very good at weight cutting.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes just because you can make the weight doesn't mean that you should make the weight.
There's a lot of, these guys travel a lot as well,
it's very far traveling. And
which way are you going?
I'm going to go with Aori Qileng.
Okay. Yeah, I think he's going to do it as well. I think he's going to stuff the first couple of takedown attempts from Perrin. He's going to catch him with something. I was just really impressed with that finish over Cameron Else. I mean, he caught him with that body shot.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
So we're both going with Aori Qileng on that one.
Yes.
Right. I feel like this one should be higher up on the card, really. Amir Albazi against Francisco Figueiredo. Now, Albazi trains in the UK, doesn't he? He's at London Shoot Fighters, I believe.
Yep.
And obviously Francisco Figueiredo is the brother of the great Davison Figueiredo. And he is very, very good. Very slick. So 14-1 for Amir Albazi, 13-4 with 1 draw and 1 no contest for Francisco Figueiredo. 1 inch height advantage for Figueiredo. The reach is the same, both 68 inches. Considerably higher striking output for Albazi at 4.06, double the striking output. Slightly lower striking accuracy, but obviously, the volume is going to be favourable. 66% takedown defense. Both of them got 75% takedown accuracy. Sorry. I don't think Figueiredo is going to be bothered about taking this fight to the floor, though. I think he's going to want to stand and trade with Albazi. I think it's like he seems to have his jiu-jitsu as a bit of a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. But Albazi also, I just see he has such a good single leg, like to take it to the ground if he wants to. Although you have
a little spin on the spot, isn't it? Yeah.
But you have Figueiredo that if you take him down, he'll like use his butterfly hooks really well to elevate his opponent. Use diagonal what do you call it? When you diagonal like
bridge?
No.
Bridge, push, frame.
Yeah, I guess like a push in those directions to create more elevation, so then he can go in like that knee bar that you were talking about that we saw. That was
super slick. As soon as he was even near the knee, he was just able to lift him over the top of him. He looks incredibly strong as well. I will say that.
And he looks very weightless.
Yeah,
he's just like does stuff that do you not weigh anything? How is that even possible?
Now I know MMA math doesn't work like this, but Francisco Figueiredo's last loss was to Malcolm Gordon.
Yeah,
and Albazi has a first round triangle choke over Gordon, and that was dominant as well, wasn't it?
Sick. Yeah,
that was really nice.
He was losing the position, and he like snatched that triangle while being reversed. It was pretty sick.
Yeah,
I liked it.
Yeah. So only 1 loss on Albazi's record as well, which is worth noting. That was to Jose Shorty Torres over in Brave.
Yeah.
And it was a unanimous decision, but it was a hell of a fight. He's a really, really exciting prospect. I think that there's a bright future for Albazi. I think he's got a very, very tough matchup, though, at this point in his career. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's a flyweight.
So which way are you going?
So on the Malkin fight, when Francisco fought him, Figueiredo, he sometimes loses position because he goes for like really cool stuff. Like he went for a leg lock, and then he lost the position, and that I feel like that can start. Like Albazi might be able to be more disciplined during the fight and take it away.
Right. Do you think if it's on the floor, he'll be able to defend the submissions of Figueiredo?
I believe so, if he starts to use his striking. Because he also has really good Kimura traps that he uses to reverse and to just set up other things. But, it's a really tough fight.
This is a really hard fight to pick.
Yeah.
A really hard fight to pick. I keep going. I'm not even really decided now. My instinct is telling me that Figueiredo might just catch him with something, but I'm going to pick Albazi. I feel like there's going to be moments in this fight where we're going to be like, Figueiredo's going to get it, like a really tight rear naked choke or a really tight heel hook or something that people are like, he's going to tap, and then he gets out. And I could very easily see Figueiredo kind of dumping a lot of energy on I think I'm going to get this finish.
Yeah.
Kind of like what's his name a bit further up the card, like Leo Santos. Remember when he fought Clay Guida? And he caught him with that body shot, and it was like, I'm on him, and he kept looking at the referee like, he's done, please stop it. Hey there.
Clay Guida, don't get tired.
Yeah, right.
He's like that kid that fought.
Nate Landwehr. Yeah,
that one.
He's just but the same thing. I could see that happening where he's got that excitement that he's going to get a finish, and then he doesn't, and Albazi's able to kind of grind him down and win a decision.
They both have different pressures on their back as well, because Albazi is also representing Iraq, and he's the first fighter from there, and that's definitely a weight on your shoulder. And then you have Figueiredo, who his brother's the champion, so that's another weight on your shoulder
for sure.
So they both have different mental battles going into this fight, which, but
Albazi's number 13, right? That's what it says on. Number 11 on the UFC rankings. So we're going with
Albazi.
Albazi.
Yeah.
Okay, AJ Fletcher against Ange Loosa.
We.
What are you saying?
Are you going to do tell of the tape? Because this part I talk and then Jamie just wham the tell of the tape up.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
I always put it when you announce.
Just make sure every time V starts to talk, just the tell of the tape comes up straight over. Just She gets too much screen time anyway, and too many nice comments. You need to calm down, you thirsty motherfuckers. No, it's fine. I get it. I understand. Anyway, AJ Fletcher 9-1.
Yes.
Ange Loosa 8-3. Both 5'10". There's a decent reach advantage for Loosa though, who is a 74-inch reach compared to Fletcher, who is 67. It's a 7-inch reach advantage, which will be useful because I think he needs to keep AJ Fletcher as far away from him as possible, because Fletcher's going to try and wrestle him to the floor. 1.7 submission average per 15 minutes. He's going to be on arm triangles and all kinds of stuff. Takedown average per 15 minutes, 4.3. I mean, he's tenacious, but Loosa does have 100% takedown defense. Now, of course, that's not from many fights in the UFC, so those stats aren't very well fleshed out. However, this is going to be a high-pressure fight, and Loosa's got to keep space from Fletcher. Would you not say? Because he's not going to be able to do what Semmelsberger did to Fletcher, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't think so either.
So if Loosa wins this fight, how does he do it?
I think sometimes he struggles to throw the punch that he has. Like, he has the skill and then he doesn't go for it sometimes.
Do you think that's because he's waiting in case someone tries to take him down?
Yeah,
because he looks like a very powerful striker, doesn't he? Yeah,
and he's very explosive. But the thing is, sometimes when he's explosive, he's a little bit over aggressive and goes like over the opponent, and they, use that opportunity to take him down.
Yeah.
So then he's kind of like in this position where he's in between these two zones.
Yeah.
And this is the fight that is Battle of the Corners. This is how the UFC...
Battle of the Corners?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because, Dustin Poirier is usually in AJ Fletcher's corner.
Okay.
And Gilbert Burns is usually in Ange Loosa's corner.
So you think they're trying to...
Yeah, the UFC is like, how can we get these guys to come to this event and we don't pay them?
I see. And then this will end in like a no contest, and then what will have to happen is that Poirier and Burns will have to just get them finish the fight off to make sure we know whose team's the best.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Okay. So Loosa's coming off a loss to Munir Lazzez. Now, there's a couple of fighters on this card that are in this predicament situation where they were on the Contender Series and they lost. They've gone away and they've won a fight or two, and then they've been brought back in on short notice and picked up another loss. So he's fought in the octagon twice. He has yet to pick up a win. The thing that stood out to me, though, about his record, well, first of all, when I was watching him, I thought to myself, he looks like John Howard. Like, the way he moves, he's got, like, his shoulders shrugged, and he's, like, got, like, a really powerful, like, Muay Thai style. And then the fight that he won in between his Contender Series and his Munir Lazzez fight was a unanimous decision win over John Howard. I bet that was like selecting the same fighter twice on Mortal Kombat. Like the what's it called? Tibora against Romanov. That's going to look like you've picked two of the same character in Mortal Kombat to face off against one another. I didn't watch that Loosa fight against John Howard, but I will go and watch it because Howard was a lot of fun to watch. I think AJ Fletcher's just going to be all over him like a rash. I think he's just going to be able to drag him down and wrestle him and clinch him up against the fence and smash him with elbows and exhaust him and just sap all of his energy out of him. And like you were talking about, Loosa having that hesitation to throw, he's going to work against him.
I think the best thing against AJ Fletcher, and where I feel he lost his last fight against Matt Schmelsberger.
Go again. It's all right, we can edit it out. Have a few goes. Yeah.
No, wait, I got this.
You got it.
Semmelesberg. I feel like the Pink Panther when he's trying to say, would you like to buy a hamburger? And he's like, would you like to buy a dumburger? Dumburger.
Would you like to buy a Semmelsberger?
Whatever, okay? That guy.
Matt Semmelsberger. Yes, in his fight against Samuelsberg. He won the first round.
Yeah, but
and he had moments.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just the issue that I see with him is that he had issues getting back up.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, he did get.
Matt. Matt was like, okay, well, you got me, all right. I got stuck here in round 1. Cool. I'm not gonna let this happen. You know, he gave up his back and he did things to get up and to get himself out of that position, not stay there. And I don't feel like he was going for sort of the same things to get back up. Whether it's I don't know, whether it's you don't really drill it because you're the wrestler that always gets the takedown, and that's just not something that you even think is possible, and or he was tired, whatever the reasons may be. That is something that that can be used against him.
Yeah.
But I don't think Ange Loosa is a person to do that.
I think he's going to be a striker versus a wrestler. I think. I don't think AJ Fletcher's going to want to stand and take the risk of getting clipped by Loosa. But I do think he knows that if he drowns him for 5 minutes, he's going to slow him right down and make him hesitant.
Yeah, and AJ Fletcher has a really good lead hook. Mm-hmm. Like when you're chasing him, and I think
that flying knee landed on Damiani.
Yes,
nice.
that was sick.
Usually when a flying knee lands, it's because you've managed to feint the person to get him to level change onto it. His knee landed on Damiani's chin just below the top of the octagon fence.
Yeah, it was
that is some springing power. He was able to get up there and land that knee.
Yeah.
Didn't Damiani fight on Cage Warriors a little while ago? I feel
he fought in Aries because I commentated.
Oh no, he did. He fought on Cage Warriors 132 after he's lost to AJ Fletcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Which way are you going?
I'm going AJ Fletcher for this one.
Oh yeah, how are you seeing him do it?
You know what? I think he might stop him.
Yeah.
I think he might stop him in the second round. I know he has a lot of 6 first round finishes, which is pretty impressive. Yeah. Like good overall like kicks and movements on the outside to get the opponent to be where they want to be, you know, like spinning hook kicks, calf kicks, and things that kind of building up to very solid foundation of MMA.
Just not quite there yet.
Yeah, but still pretty good. Chases guillotines. And what I like about his guillotine chasing was that he held it and tried to move it to a better position. Like he was from the ground to like all the way up and like kept hold of it, but he used it also as a position, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I'm going for Team Poirier.
Okay. Right, let's move on then. So
who'd you pick?
I think Fletcher. I think Fletcher's going to drown him. I think he's pace and his wrestling is going to be too much. Okay, so on the Tapology page, I have Maverick against Young next, but it's not on UFC stats page.
Yes, because that was an exhibition fight that they did in Invicta.
No. I mean the whole thing, like the matchup is not there. It goes straight from Loosa to Saldaña against Woodson. I'll give you a little rundown here. So Maverick is 10-4, and Shanna Young is 8-4, and this is a rematch. The first one, as you said, was on Invicta, and Miranda Maverick won by rear naked choke. Maverick stands at 5'3" with a 65.5-inch reach, and Young is 5'7" with a 65-inch reach. And I would guess that Young's going to want to try and keep this standing, partly because she lost her last fight to her by rear naked choke.
Yes.
And partly because her grappling didn't look too bad against Gina Mazzani, but it was still defensive grappling that managed to get her scrambling to top positions to hit the back. I kind of feel like I'm leaning towards Miranda Maverick on this one.
Yeah, I am as well. Do you know she's a statist?
Go on. Have another go. Semmelsberger? She's a what?
Oh my god.
She's a
contracted statistician. Oh wow, what is wrong with me today? Oh my god. Does stats for another job.
Does stats for another job.
Yes.
I remember when she
analyzes stats.
Yeah, is that right?
Yes.
Ooh, shit. Did I pull that out? No. I remember when I was interviewing her in Fight Island before either a debut or one of her earlier fights in the UFC, and she was studying at the same time as she was in Fight Island. Like she was doing like middle of the night online lectures and stuff, like trying to get like a doctorate or something. Very very intelligent individual.
Yeah. She has heavy pressure with her wrestling and her grappling, and like when she's also very physically strong. She's been training at Elevation, helping Laura Murphy prepare.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she helped her prepare for Miesha Tate. So she's been kind of mimicking Miesha Tate a lot and switching her stance to be more comfortable in the other side.
So you think she'll wrestle again, though? If she's been mimicking Miesha Tate, she's probably been wrestling a lot.
Yeah, she is. But she kind of wants to like show her striking and...
She does a lot of like casual stance switching as well, I noticed. Like she's quite comfortable fighting out of both stances.
Yeah.
Like I think it was her last fight she started in Southpaw, but against Young the first time she started orthodox, but immediately she starts switching. I just think Maverick just might be a bit too polished in all ranges for her.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit too physical.
Well, Young's now training at Syndicate, so maybe she's
getting some work with Roxanne Modafferi. She might be able to improve her grappling. I don't know how much Roxanne's at the gym now. She's retired. I know she was teaching a lot of the kids' classes and stuff, but I wonder if she's still about, because that'd be a good training partner for her, especially for Maverick.
Yeah, but Young has a really good ground and pound though.
Yeah.
So when we saw Maverick fight,
did you
Erin
see her going
Blanche?
head and then she started to work the body to bring her arm down?
Yeah, like when she's on top, because when she fought Gina, there was a point where like Gina was on top and stuff, and she wasn't really doing as much. But when she got the position, and in a lot of her finishes from before, it's like just vicious ground and pound. So it's, if she gets in the position, she's not letting it go. Where a lot of other fighters kind of do and get a little bit caught up in that position. And then when Miranda fought Erin Blanchfield, I just saw that. That same, like, you get taken down and you don't really like go back up or try to improve position, where I know she was trying to stay safe and do the smart move, but then
time's running out.
Time kind of ran away from her. But yeah, she probably learned a lot from that as well. I don't think Young is going to do it. No. Yeah.
Maverick.
2
votes for Maverick. Okay, next up. This one's a fun one. No, this is the body shot one. This is the one I got mixed up.
Yeah, you just said it so like convincingly. I was like,
you almost believed me, didn't you? I know.
I was like, why do my notes say
almost
the opposite?
Sold it to you.
Oh, let me remember where it was.
I almost sold it to you. Yeah, so, easy. No need to take it out on the set. Jesus.
Amy says that I could grab him and move him and it's okay.
Is that what Amy says?
That is what Amy says.
Well, she's not in my ears listening to you club the fuck out of the microphone, is she? Exactly. She gets to listen to it afterwards and turn it and tweak it down, so it's nice for all of you people. Whereas as I remove these headphones, which I'm not going to do now, you'll see streams of blood running down the sides of my neck.
Okay, we started the podcast with you like singing not very good.
No, we didn't. That was all edited out. And how dare you? Anyway, Sean Woodson, who's a very imposing figure for this weight class. This is 145. And Woodson looks a little bit like Avatar. He's 6'2", but he's 6'2" with like really long skinny legs and really long skinny arms. Like he's got a 78-inch reach.
How are you?
That's like a middleweight reach at least. Like Paulo Costa, 72-inch reach.
Yeah,
he has a 6-inch reach advantage on Paulo Costa.
Do you know what? Sean Woodland has fought in middleweight in his career.
Has he really?
He has fought in middleweight.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Earlier in his career, but yeah, crazy. He has.
Like Luis Saldaña is 5'11", and at 145, he's probably taller than almost everybody he's fought before. But this time it's going to be really unusual because he's going to be outreached and out-talled. Out-talled. I just made that up.
Out-talled, yep.
Out-talled. Makes sense though, doesn't it? You know what I mean.
Yeah.
They know what I mean.
Well, the amount of words I've said wrong this whole podcast, I mean, you could say that. It's fine.
Okay, and Sean Woodson was the one that has really nice body shots.
Yes, he was former Golden Gloves champion.
Was he really?
At 200 pounds.
Damn, really?
Yep.
200 pounds. I wonder what he looked like. I wonder if he was like Ruiz kind of 200 pounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's 6 something.
I know, but that's the thing. Like... So he couldn't have looked too unusual at 200 pounds.
No,
I mean, I'm about 200 pounds, and he's still taller than me.
Yeah.
I eat a lot more cake than he does, though. What are you laughing at?
Maybe he did too. That's why he went down to featherweight.
That's very true. Well, now he's not eating cake and he's winning fights. I think he's going to be working those body shots, especially after seeing Saldaña get dropped in his last fight by a body shot.
Yeah.
Like
Lingo,
for me,
right?
that'd be like, I am going to nail that dude. And the thing is, as soon as he starts touching the body, Saldaña's going to have that flashback and he's going to be like, oh, that was awful. Was it Austin Lingo that dropped him?
Lingo,
that was it.
that's
Yeah.
the fight before the last fight.
Yeah, because like you watch that first round, you're like, there's no way Austin Lingo's going to win this fight. And it's kind of funny because sometimes as I'm watching the first round, I'm like, did I remember this fight wrong? I'm like, okay, I've watched the first 2 minutes. I'm going to skip through to the last 2 minutes. I'm like, oh no, okay, I remember how this fight ends up. And it was like, Lingo just out toughed him, didn't he? He was on the front foot. He was eating shots. He was like, nope, we're going to fight. You're going to deal with me. And he just started to like break a little bit, didn't he? And like that body shot dropped him. And I just didn't think he wanted to be in there anymore after that.
Yeah.
I think he's going to really struggle with the reach of Sean Woodson. He's going to look very unusual as a featherweight with a 6'2", 78-inch reach.
Plus with great boxing skills.
Yeah. Who's a killer with body shots.
Yeah. And he feels they're underutilized in MMA. Like he talks about it. He's like quite like vocal advocate towards body shots in MMA, which I feel is cool. And he's had some time off because he broke his hand fighting Salal. He didn't take enough time recovering. He was like, oh no, I'm fine. The doctors don't tell me anything. So the amount of time he needed, I think about like 6 months to recover from the hand, and he fought at 5 months. So he recovered nothing, right? And
stopped him.
Yeah, and then hurt his hand again when he fought Colin. So then now he's taking, like the right time to recover his hand. And man, if that's with a messed up hand, can you imagine what he's going to look like now?
Yeah, now he can throw those shots without worrying about it.
Yeah, he has like a lot of high output as well. Like keeps you on your guard because he's dangerous, and then it starts making those openings for those body shots that he has.
Let me have a look at that statistic. Sean Woodson, 5.75 strikes landed per minute with a 44% accuracy, compared to Saldaña, who's 4.9 strikes per minute. Slightly higher accuracy, slightly less punches. So they've got a kind of a similar output, actually.
Yeah, I think Saldaña uses his kicks more, though.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, he's just a well-rounded fighter. He has knockout wins, he has submission wins, training at Fight Ready. So, that's just like a very good team to train out of.
To get ready for a fight. Fight Ready.
And Sean Woodson trains at the small place close to a small gym per se. So this is another fight that he's having against somebody from a big, well-known gym.
Wolves Den.
Yes, that's the one. Wolves Den.
Good stuff.
And Saldaña, I will bet you that he will Superman punch off the fence. I'm ready to make. I will bet you right now.
I think if he tries that Superman punch off the fence, he's going to get stiff jabbed in the middle of the air. He's going to end up on his ass.
I feel like that's my prediction for the fight. A Superman punch.
Okay.
At least once.
I think Sean Woodson's going to stop him.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stop him.
With body shots.
Yeah. Or maybe just kind of soften him up with a body shot and come like up the center or around the side with hooks or uppercuts. Yeah. Like I would imagine fighting Sean Woodson would feel like fighting 2 or 3 people at the same time that you can't reach any of. It would feel like, especially when you're backed up against the fence and you're like,
he's a little bit like Tarantula guy.
He is, yeah.
name?
Jalen Turner.
Yes,
he is, yeah. Tarantula. A good song. Yes, he is, yeah.
It's just like, how did I get this guy in my division? How much weight? I can't even make this weight. Yeah. Why are you so tall?
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see Saldaña at bantamweight after this.
Yeah.
So you're going with Saldaña by Superman punch off the fence?
No, I'm saying he's going to do it.
That's just what you said. We've got that clip, literally.
That's not what we got. I'm saying he's going to do it. He's a slick counter striker. He has good reflexes, but I feel Woodson obviously has, golden gloves, like former golden gloves. And it's just, like a really good state in his right now. So, yeah.
Sean Woodson then.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 more prelims and then we're into the main card. Lucie Pudilová against Wu Yanan. Now, Pudilová was in the UFC for a while, but she picked up, 3 losses in a row, was it, and got released? Let me have a quick look here. Oh no, 4 losses in a row. So she came in, she beat Lena Landsberg by decision. Sorry, she lost to Landsberg by decision. Then she won 2 by decision, Ji-Yeon Kim and Sarah Moras. Then she lost a split decision to Aldana, unanimous to Carmouche, got rear naked chokes by Antonina Shevchenko, and then lost another decision to Justin Kish. Then she was released. Then she wins 3 fights by decision, loses to Toledo Bernardo, and then wins another 2 fights by decision, and now she's been signed again. So she's back in the UFC after 2 years out.
Mm-hmm. Been inactive 2 years, though.
It has been a very busy 2 years for her. And you know, sometimes this happened to Peter Sabota. He had a rough run in the UFC, got released, and he won like 5 fights in a row by sub. And they signed him. And when he came back, even just for a couple of fights, he looked really strong. It wouldn't surprise me if I mean, especially because Wu Yanan's kind of in they're like ships that pass in the night kind of situation. Like you could see Pudilová moving back into the UFC as Wu Yanan moves out because she's coming on 3 losses.
Yeah.
Good fight though. Both strikers. I think Wu Yanan's probably going to try and clinch and grapple with Pudilová a little bit more. Mm-hmm. But I think Pudilova's probably got more jiu-jitsu skills if it hits the floor.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like there might be a bit more of a thud in Wu Yanan's punches, whereas Pudilova's more bang, 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 bang from a distance. Kind of like there was not a lot of snap in her punches when I remember watching her before, you know?
Yeah, well, I heard an interview that Wu Yanan did. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there was a translator because I don't, you know.
Her nickname should be Tang. Wu Tang Yanan. No, that sounds weird, doesn't it? Yanan. Although
Wu-Tang Yanan.
You don't know Wu-Tang. Nobody's grandma needs Wu-Tang in. Let's just make that clear. There is a fighter on this card that's got a Wu-Tang tattoo. Did you notice? He's got Wu-Tang Forever on one side and he's got the Joker on the other that's disappearing into bats on his shoulder. Yeah. Pop quiz. What fighter is that? Don't Wu-Tang Yanan. Anyway.
Yeah, so Lucie's now training at SBG Ireland.
Karen.
Okay.
It's all right. I'm tuning it out.
Focus.
Sorry.
Lucie's been training at SBG Ireland.
Yep.
Right? So she's been getting a lot of work with girls. She has very good long range punches, tags her opponents, you know, angle changes quite a bit. And yeah, it's hard because she's like a striker that's in your face all the time. So it's sometimes the decisions go like split or you know, like Irene Aldana. Mm-hmm. I mean, she has really good boxing.
Yeah.
That's not a bad split decision loss.
Not
and Liz Carmouche is a horrible fight for anybody, you know?
First female fight in the UFC.
Yeah. So, yeah, I just feel like that they weren't bad losses, and especially because she was still finding her place in within MMA. You know, she's from the Czech Republic, and she kind of migrated into like more better training to showcase the best out of her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's tough, like always ready for a scrap. Anyway, the Wu interview, she was saying that, this is going to be like a striking battle. Like, we're just going to strike it out.
Said, yeah.
So I don't know if she's just saying that for effects, but I don't think she was lying, if that makes sense.
3 losses in a row. If she's getting lit up on the feet, she's going to be trying to clinch and get takedowns, even if she's not going to get them. Yeah.
She has like good cardio as well. Like,
she's got more takedown average per 15 minutes. It's 0.7, so I'm not expecting much from her. And her takedown accuracy is 30% compared to Pudilova's 61% takedown defense. Pudilová also has a higher submission attempt average. But then the striking goes on Wu Yanan's favor. She's more accurate by a few percentages and she has a slightly higher striking output. But she does absorb more strikes per minute. Mm.
Yeah, she's training at Jackson Wink as well.
Oh, is that where she is?
Yeah, well, like she did before.
I wonder if she gets any work with Holly Holm.
Yeah, that'd be
cool.
Good. Yeah, just now has visa issues. Not like issues, but you know, it's time to renew it, and she might go to Thailand after. Good footwork. Mm-hmm. She moves well, but
which way are you going?
I think Lucie might. Yeah.
Decision.
Yeah, decision. Yeah.
Maybe a split. I could see it being a split decision.
Absolutely.
I could see it being a very competitive fight. And it would, I think I could see this decision be dependent on, where is it?
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Focus. I could see this decision being dependent on how the judges view the takedown attempts. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like whether they go, well, you know, she's working. Like if she gets like 1 of 3 takedowns in the fight, like some judges might score that higher than the fact that as soon as Pudilová was on her back, she was striking and working triangles.
Yeah.
You know, I could see it being that kind of fight where you could argue one way or the other, but I think Pudilová takes a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, right. Is Tapology in line with... Yes, it is. Okay, so the last prelim. Jared Gordon against Leonardo Santos. Funnily enough, Santos is ranked 42 worldwide and he's 42. Hang on a minute. Jared Gordon is 33. And you know what? Jared Gordon. Oh, okay. I know. I always confuse the two.
They look the same,
no,
right?
This is legit true. As far as Tapology goes, Jared Gordon's age is 33 and his ranking in the world is 33. And Leo Santos is 42 and that's also his age.
That is crazy.
That's crazy, isn't it?
That is insane.
Which means that the best fighter in the world has just been born. MMA maths. Dun, dun, dun. It's been a long weekend. It's been a long, long weekend. There's been a lot of fighting going on. Okay. Focus.
You focus.
I am focused on numbers and statistics.
All right.
Statistics. Jared Gordon against Leo Santos. So, Jared Gordon's a good fighter. Mm-hmm. He had a little bit of a rough start in the UFC. He struggles to put people away. When he does put people away, generally it's ground and pound, but he is predominantly a boxer in MMA.
Yeah.
He has wrestling as a backup, but he will jump on a guillotine if it's offered to him, but often that is what gives him his takedowns away, because he has got pretty good takedown offense. On the other side, you've got Leo Santos, who's tall and rangy for the division. Probably shouldn't be in this division if you got him on a DEXA scan, because he's very big for this weight class, and I know he cuts a lot of weight. And the other thing as well, and there's one reason why he's 42 and he's still kind of competing like around the middle of the division, is because he's very inconsistent. Like he's just not fighting very regular. Like you look down his career. I was looking at this earlier today. So he turned pro back in 2001, which is a long time ago. First pro fight was against Takanori Gomi. And he went through some really rough fights. Like he lost to Gomi, then he lost to Jean Silva, who was a good fighter as well, fighting out of London. But like he had a lot of fights early on. Like 2007, 2008, 2009 were busy years. 2013, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights. 2013, like 2015 was fairly busy, and then it went 2016, 2019, 2020. 2021, and he's lost twice in 2021.
Yeah.
I just kind of feel like the fact that he goes up a massive amount of weight and the fact that he's still cutting to 155 at 42.
Yeah.
I feel like his body's just going to start giving up on him. And that Clay Guida fight, he got so excited, he completely gassed himself out, and then Clay Guida just came back into it. And Reineke choked him, which must have been an incredible hit to his confidence as a jiu-jitsu practitioner. Would you not think?
Jiu-Jitsu world champion.
Jiu-Jitsu world champion.
Yeah.
Ranked 42, age 42. I can't get over that.
Yeah.
That's mad, isn't it?
The thing with him is like he's part of like the pioneers at Nova Union. Mm-hmm. You know, he's like in all the pictures, and he's pretty much a team captain there, and he really just guides everybody and makes sure they're in line and helps all the fighters. But man, sparring at Nova Union is not like let us get better. It is I am gonna wreck you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wreck you as hard as I can.
Yeah. It's like the one person that walks off the mat at the end of the session maybe get a UFC contract.
Yeah. Just because they survived that shit. Because I've seen a lot of really good people come in and out of Nova Union and then just struggle because Yeah, I remember being there after the boat race when I landed in Rio, and I went there for a couple of days, and I remember watching Hakron Diaz sparring with Johnny Eduardo with 12-ounce gloves on, maybe 14 ounces, no headgear, in that little tiny ring that used to be in the middle of the old place. Yeah.
and they just murdered one another. It was all out violence for the whole round. And one of the coaches nudged me. I won't mention the name of the coach, but he nudged me and he went, "Another one for Sherdog." I'm like, yeah, and no one's getting paid. And no one's walking out of here a better fighter than they walked in here at. They're just walking out with either feeling like they've got a headache or a bigger ego because they're tough. It was just a really unhealthy way of sparring. But Aldo wasn't sparring like that.
No, he wasn't, and he was never in those like little groups.
No,
He picked his opponent, not his opponents, his training partners, and he always got treated very differently.
Yeah.
Well, when I was there, what I saw is that everybody else was like.
I had a good little move around with Aldo there. It was super quick. And he's very kind of like
grappling.
Static strength is like, he clamps onto you and you're like well, I can't move. It's like,
his
ridiculous.
grappling is sick to watch. Yeah. All
Very,
right,
very
let's
good.
not
Anyway,
get out of.
Leo Santos, I just think he's hit that point in his career where he's left it a little bit too late to have a run at anything like championship wise. I don't think he doesn't have the skills. I think he does. But I just feel like he might have a really good first round and Jared Gordon might just start stomping all over him in the second and third.
Which is where he faded, In Clay Guida, second round finish, Grant Dawson, third round finish. It's just he starts fading further along because those weight cuts add up to you. Plus, he's probably had a lot of injuries because he's so tall and skinny and not, there's not a lot of protection around his body.
Well, when I was there, he wasn't training because of an injury. I remember asking one of the coaches. One of the coaches telling me he was a fighter, and because I didn't recognize him when I first saw him, I was like, he looks familiar, but I kind of felt like I might have seen him in a corner of somebody. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, what is he, a middleweight? I thought he was like, shooter middleweight champ or whatever. And he was like, oh, no, 155. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, same.
Like, they're big weight cuts.
Yeah.
And again, he's like, I keep bringing into it, but 42, with big gaps in his career where he's not been active, he's not good.
Yeah.
A quick tail of the tape before we make picks on this one. 18-6-1 for Leo Santos, 18-5 for Jared Gordon. 6 foot is Leo Santos, so he's got a couple of inches of height on Jared Gordon, 3 inches, and he's got a 7-inch reach advantage on him as well. Mm-hmm. Higher striking output for Jared Gordon. I mean, the grappling stats are quite interesting because there aren't many submission attempts on Leo Santos' side. 0.3 submission attempts, but 86% takedown defense. It's pretty good. I think you might need that in this one because I think Jared Gordon might close him down and beat him up and clinch him. Yeah,
he has like really high amplitude takedowns as well, which if your body's just a little bit fragile, that is not nice.
Yeah. Do you think Gordon stays away from takedowns because of his ground game? Or do you think after watching what Clay Guida did to him, he's like, oh, I'll just maul him with wrestling?
Oh, I just think he'll try to get him tired. Even if because getting up from those takedowns, one, requires a lot of energy and it's exhausting. You have to be doing the right things. And although Jared starts really strong always, Leo Santos' best round is recently it's been the first round, but he has really good front kicks and up the center line attacks, knees from tie clinch.
That's a good shout. That might be problems for Jared Gordon, that front kick.
Yeah, like it was a lot of problem for Clay Guida, and I think at a better age or different, like Santos a few years ago would have finished Clay Guida because he was just like a better fighter.
I think he'd have probably subbed him though. I think he'd have probably tried to sub him instead of like pleading at the referee to stop him with a TKO.
But the thing is, like, sometimes referees do stop it
it's just
really early
to watching it.
and then sometimes it's freaking late. So fighters don't really know what is a stoppage.
Yeah, but at no point should you concern yourself with where the referee is and what they think about the strikes that you're landing. That should be the last of your attention.
Yeah,
like when you're in that situation, you should be focused on your opponent and you should be focused on trying to hit them as effectively and as hard as possible. And he wasn't. He did exactly what Renan Barão did against Uriah Faber. and Uriah Faber was clinging onto his leg, and that, yeah, you're right, that fucking worked, because he was whacking him, and kept looking at the referee. He's like, "He can stop it, and the referee eventually did stop it, and you're like,
I feel like that's a little bit of a grappling thing, like in jiu-jitsu competitions. If you pass guard, because you have to wait a certain amount of time.
He's like, he's out. No, he's out. I can fit. He's out, and the guy's scrambling. He's like, dude, you're supposed to be unconscious. Stop. Yeah, I just don't like to see it. I like to see, like, Ante Delea at the weekend when he was smashing the hell out of Figueiredo. Like, he didn't even acknowledge that there was a referee in there until the referee was trying to get between them to separate them.
Yeah.
He was solely focused on, how can I bludgeon this guy with the next punch? And whenever you see Leo Santos or Henan Barao or whatever, and they're just like tapping it, you know those strikes aren't effective. Like, you know the person's holding on for a minute because they can feel this wild flurry of tap-in shots, and it's... Yeah, referees need to stop buying into that stuff. It annoys me. Anyway, on that note, I'm picking Jared Gordon because I want him to win.
Yeah, I'm picking Jared Gordon as well. Yeah. I just think he's going to have a rough first round.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he really starts fast, has a strong overhand right, but it might run into those teeps or into the knees.
Even that fight against Grant Dawson, though, like, he had a really good first round. He had moments. He was on top right before he got subbed. You know what I mean? That was just that brief scramble where Dawson was able to kind of recover a really bad round for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my concern is that, but I don't think that lightning's going to strike twice on Jared Gordon. I don't know. Santos is good. I can see him front kicking him in the face and then taking his back.
Yeah, it's not that I don't think he's good. I just don't think he's like hungry for the belt and like in that position. He's just, well, I'm gonna make some money.
Yeah, and Jared Gordon was doing all right. I mean, you look at the fights that he's had. Like, he made his debut against Michel Quinones, and that was the only fight in the UFC that he stopped. He beat him up on the ground pretty good. That was a good win. Then he beat Hakron Diaz, who's a teammate of Leo Santos, which is interesting. Lost to Figueiredo, lost to Silva, beat Dan Moret, lost to Charles Oliveira, of course. You remember that lovely little footwork, the little step out that he did with the uppercut? Oh, what a beautiful finish. But then, almost as if being touched by the fist of greatness against Charles Oliveira, he then went on a 3-fight win streak.
Touched by the fist of greatness.
It happens sometimes, you know what I mean? You fight someone who's an incredible fighter, and you're better in the next fight.
Yeah.
Fishgold, Danny Chavez, and Joe Selecki, all decision wins, but before losing to Grant Dawson, which I would have been interested to see the judges' scorecards at that point, because it was 4-11 of the third round, and Jared Gordon was having a good fight in that one. Anyway, I'm going with him anyway. Anyway. Jared Gordon. Are you going the same? We already had the conversation?
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Right. Next, first fight on the main card. Now, come on. This is like, you can't script the outcome of an MMA fight, but this is about as close to it as you can get if you're the UFC. Like, let's just assess this for a moment. So we have Tyson Pedro taking on Harry Hunsucker. What a name. 8-3 for Tyson Pedro, 7-5 for Harry Hunsucker. 1-inch height advantage for Pedro, 4-inch reach advantage for Pedro. Lower striking output, higher striking accuracy, better striking defense, 52% takedown defense. Tyson Pedro's pretty good. He looked pretty good in his last fight. Mm-hmm. Harry Hunsucker is another one of those fighters that's not had a lot of luck when he's put UFC gloves on. He lost first round in the Contender Series, went and stopped a guy called Corey Moon outside of the UFC, and then came back in to get stopped by Tai Tuivasa and then stopped by Justin Taffer.
Yeah.
Like, the general theme is, it's going to be a first round finish.
By the Australian guy.
Most likely by Tyson Pedro, who's coming off a first round finish, which was a dismantling of Ike Villanueva. Like, smashed his legs. Like, this, I mean, this is about as get as a first round finish for Tyson Pedro as you can get. And I feel bad for Harry because he's right up against it here. He knows what he's up against coming into this. Doesn't change the way that he fights. It certainly didn't change the way that he fought Justin Tafa. Like, he went after him like his chin was made of iron.
Yeah, but maybe we'll see a difference in this fight because he's dropping down a weight class. Because he was never really a heavyweight. If you look at his physique, he now looks a lot, just a lot better trained than it was. He also had another job that he had to do, and just making that weight becomes a little bit difficult. And Tai Tuivasa and Justin Tafa are both kind of like thicker quarterback / sumo wrestlers.
Yeah. His weight has been coming down.
Yeah.
Like, he weighed in against Tai Tuivasa at 249, and then against Justin Tafa he weighed in at 238.5. So he'd lost a decent chunk of weight. Mm-hmm. I just don't know. I mean, he's still smaller and has a shorter reach than Tyson Pedro. And Tyson's just a little bit...
Doesn't that suck? Imagine dropping all that weight and you're still shorter.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like this one's set up to open up the main card and get Tyson Pedro another first round finish. Harry Hunsucker, again, he's never put a UFC pair of gloves on, including the Contender Series, without the branding. They're still UFC gloves. They're exactly the same thing. He's never put a pair of those gloves on and picked up a win. Mm-hmm. And he is a first round or nothing kind of guy. Literally. I mean, look at this. First round loss in his first fight. First round rear naked choke, second fight. First round loss to Dontel Mays in his next fight. Then he went on a bit of a win streak. 121, 356, 50 seconds, minute and 2, minute and 21. Some submissions mixed in here as well, rear naked chokes, Americanas, etc. Yeah. But then he hits the UFC and just starts getting starched. It's just not a good style for big risk taking against punchers like Tai Tuivasa, is it?
Yeah.
And and Tai Tuivasa, a teammate of Tyson Pedro.
Yeah, of course. And they also used a lot of leg kicks to really mess him up. And that's something that Tyson Pedro just won off. It's kind of like, really, dude?
Right?
it's just like, this recipe keeps working. I'm just going to do a plug bucket it again,
Let's give him someone that he can do the same thing to.
Yeah, at a different weight class.
Yeah.
I mean, not to take away anything from Harry. He has like fast hands for his weight and for his size.
Game. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's just been put in this position because you know what you're going to get from him.
Yeah, and Tyson Pedro is coming off bad knee surgery that they had to redo. I mean, obviously his last fight was after that, but he had a lot of momentum as to be the next big thing in this weight class, and struggled and then had the knee, and now I feel like he's in a really good mental state, and he's just ready to let's go.
Yeah,
this pressure is not going to get to me this time, and if I've been through this, I can overcome anything type of mentality.
So
Tyson
Pedro, yeah, pretty clean cut for that one. I mean, I might be surprised by Hunsucker moving down a weight class, but I just kind of feel like this one's pretty much set up for a home run for Tyson. Okay, moving on. Heavyweight division. When you choose two fighters, two of the same character on... I keep getting that wrong. Why do I keep fucking that up? When you're playing Street Fighter and you choose the same character. Marcin Tybura against Alexander Romanov.
Yes.
So Tybura is a good grappler. I think he's a brown belt, maybe have his black belt by now. Alexander Romanov is a big lump who likes to take people down and make them suffer from bottom position. Tybura 22-7. Alexander Romanov undefeated in 16 fights. 1 inch height advantage for Tybura, 3 inch reach advantage for Tybura. Orthodox v Southpaw. Higher striking output for Romanov, higher striking accuracy, 69% takedown accuracy compared to an 82% takedown defense for Tybura. But as we said, he does have that submission game in his back pocket, although it is Romanov who's got the submission average of 1.6 compared to Tybura, who's barely got anything. Tybura is good until he kind of takes his foot off the gas, and he sometimes coasts in fights, and I don't feel like this is a fight where you can coast. I feel like Romanov is going to push him, he's going to force him back up against the fence, he's going to make him wrestle, and he's gonna if he takes him down, he's not going to be too concerned with anything coming up as far as jiu-jitsu, because from the top position he's very, very strong. Arm triangles, forearm chokes, Americanas, I mean, he's got a couple. We got what, four forearm chokes on his record.
Yeah.
And that's putting your forearm on someone's neck and leaning on it.
Yeah. Like, he's chubby, but he uses that weight to his advantage.
King Kong is his nickname.
Because he actually does. King Kong strikes.
Yeah, he does.
It's kind of like King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
King Kong versus King Kong of, like, the past.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
like
It took a lot
Marcin.
for me to say King Kong versus Godzilla. Don't put that in my head.
I feel like Romanov might just be a little bit too much. Too aggressive, too confident, too fresh-faced for the heavyweight division, 16-0. Like, you got to think he's looking at the top of the division and seeing people that have got less than 10 fights getting title shots and thinking, I'm going to be up here soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to be right up here. And it's not like he's struggling with people. I mean, he's stopping almost everybody.
Yes. But.
Dun. He's only been decision once.
Exactly. That's the fight that you got to watch.
Oh, okay.
Because he went decision. So, just to like, his takedowns are sick. Really quick.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. I mean, it's not the equivalent to his weight of the speed he can go and take people down. And, you know, when he's on top, he just punches them or just grabs an arm because whatever. It's kind of like Francis in the beginning when he just went for like a Kimura just because he's strong. It's not a very like good grappling in sense, but he'll like snatch that submission just because he's very powerful. But when he fought Juan Espino, which is from the Canary, where they have the Canary wrestling.
Oh, yes, I remember.
Yes.
Yep.
So he struggled a lot with that stamina. I mean, he was able to take him down and he was winning. I thought he won the first round. The second, it started to like shift. And then in the third, well, I think the second Espino won. And then in the third, it was like clear that Espino was like, okay, you're gassed and I'm going to get you. You know, because I had enough wrestling to be able to at least fight my way into this third round, and this is where I'm going to stop you. And then that groin strike happened, and then he was kind of like, oh, that's it, I've had enough. But I feel a little bit like the fight was very, very much slipping away from him.
Right, yeah, technical split decision.
Yeah, it was really splitting away from him. Just like
Slipping.
running away from him. And that might be the problem that he faces. But Marcin, when he fought Volkov, and he got reversed, he just like he stayed there.
He
and
accepts it.
Yeah, and he couldn't get up, and he has really good transition. I feel he's a better grappler. Like when he's on the back, he does it really good. Just transition step by step to keep control and to strike, and it's just very, very well executed. But like sometimes he like steps through with a left hand, and he just kind of like stays there for a sec. Like a split sec just in front, and that's the moment where Romanov can take him down.
Yeah, he gets a bit backed up high as well, chin in
Yeah,
the head.
and he has like a really weird guard that I'm not a fan of. You know, in school, we used to fight like that. We used to go like this, and we had to do that. That was a legit thing at school. We just that fight like that.
I'll show you a fight after this where someone did that in the UFC.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Nate Quarry did it to his opponent, Caleb Starnes. Starnes was not fighting him; he was just running away.
I can't say what that guard is called because it's a little bit offensive.
Okay, well, let's not go there then.
Yeah.
So which way are you going on this one? You thinking?
I think Romanov does it.
Yeah.
But because Tiburia won't put as much emphasis on getting back up and making Romanov tired.
And he'll accept being on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it won't tire Romanov as much out.
I could see Romanov getting a TKO finish here. I just think Tybura gets kind of lazy and a bit defeated, and if Romanov feels that, he'll take the initiative and try and stop him. And I think the referee will jump in and stop him because Tybura is just covering up and not doing anything to escape.
Yeah.
I could see that. I'm going with Romanov.
Yeah.
Probably a second round TKO. Yeah. Okay. People's main event: Jose Aldo against Merab Dvalishvili. Okay, now I've done a war room on this, so if you have not checked that out, go and check that out. I get into it a little bit more than we are going to here. 31-7 for Jose Aldo, 14-4 for Merab Dvalishvili. 1-inch height advantage for Aldo, 2-inch reach advantage for Aldo. Highest striking output for Merab, incredible takedown average at 7.3 for Merab, but Aldo with a 90% takedown defense. Go on then. What's your top line? How does Aldo win if he beats him?
Has Aldo ever lost to a wrestler before?
I mean, he was grounded by Peter Yan, wasn't he?
Yeah, but Peter Yan's not really a wrestler.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you look at Aldo's record, it's against wrestlers when he was a featherweight, he was almost unstoppable. I said this in the War Room: 22 takedown attempts from Frankie Edgar, and he landed 2. That's over both fights. Like Chad Mendes landed 1 takedown in their second fight, and like he's got such a good habit of bouncing back up to his feet. Very few people are credited with a takedown over him. 1 of 2 for Peter Yan. 450 of control.
Yeah, I'd struggle with Jose Aldo in this fight if it was 5 rounds, because Merab has that nightmare of Clay Guida / that guy that fought on the weekend, Nate
Landwehr.
Like,
never slows down, never gets stopped.
Like, he's in the corner, he doesn't even sit down. He's just like, yeah, what's up? I'm not even tired. Let's go.
He wasn't even holding still when he was unconscious against Ricky Simone at the end of the fight.
He's just
still moving.
And he kind of strikes like that. He kind of strikes a little bit like a herky-jerky kind of going. But the issue is, I feel like he likes to strike and he loves a fight. And he's not just a wrestler that's like, let me do the smart thing, game plan right now, which is take you down and control you, because I can take you down whenever I want. And then, which he can revert to that if possible, but it's never without putting himself in danger, and almost dropped and, hurt, and struggles a little bit with leg kicks.
So 3 knockouts on his record, 1 submission win, and 10 decisions on his record. On Jose Aldo's side, 1 submission and 13 decisions and 17 knockouts out of 31 wins. I keep bouncing back and forward with this. Like, if this was over 5 rounds, if this was like the main event of a fight night, I'd be leaning more towards Merab because of the pace and the wrestling and the, Aldo generally taking a round off over 5 rounds, whereas this 3 rounds, Aldo's takedown defense is slick, and his ground game's not bad either. He knows how to deal with this style from fighting Frankie Edgar, and I think he did so well at that. And I don't think Merab is anything more than what Frankie Edgar had to offer for Aldo.
It's like a new, refreshed version.
Yeah,
a little bit,
but with less experience, and that's a big key. Like, you look at his fights against Vera and Munoz, and I mean obviously Rob Font as well, over 5 rounds. As long as his striking output is not suppressed by the movement of Dvalishvili, like his striking was against Volkanovski. Like, he'd never really get started against Volkanovski. If I was Merab, I'd be watching that fight over and over again. I'd be trying to mimic that movement a little bit. I think Aldo's going to do it though.
Yeah,
I think he's going to smash his lead leg and make him very heavy on that lead leg. And then I can see him either going left up to the body or something, stopping him with that.
Especially just how he was fighting against Marlon Moraes.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you, of course, Marlon got just exhausted in that second round. He was just like, I've had enough of this fight. But it still goes to a little bit like Leo Santos' moment in Marlon Moraes, But it still doesn't, you still see him getting caught a lot. And he's such a fun fighter to watch, just because he'll put himself in danger, put himself in risk, and then go, and his takedowns are really deep when he goes for it, because he throws that hand I'm gonna get you, and if I don't, I just leg lace your leg and just use all that momentum to drive you down, and then top pressure and punch, and I'll keep you there, and if not, I'll take you down again. So that can be an issue. But I feel like Jose Aldo's can get the better of him in those small transitions, and maybe get his back and just stay there like he did against Marlon Vera. To the point where this fight's it's getting a bit difficult. Let me revert to something that is so he doesn't have to take a round off. He can still win the round and then just have control, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's not having to go like, oh, shit.
Yeah, but even, I mean, over the 3 rounds, he just doesn't need to anyway.
Yeah.
I just think it's the 5 rounders where he needs to pull back a little bit. But I think he's got enough skill and enough experience to be able to see Merab coming, see what he has to offer, and be able to catch him with something. Counter knee, hard low kicks, like counter knees on level changes once he's got Merab's timing. Good takedown defense, and then working body shots, something to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah, plus his leg kicks are
They're disgusting. Yeah. I think Aldo's going to do it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah? Okay. Co-main event, Paulo Costa against Luke Rockhold. Again, there's a war room for this, so make sure you check it out. This one's a lot of fun. I'm not going to say too much here, because I want people to go and watch the war room for it.
Just leave me here stranded.
Bit of a battle of egos.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the weight things.
Okay, well, this is middleweight, not light heavyweight, although Paulo Costa, I mean, it is Monday of fight week, so there's still time for him to arrive tomorrow, like 30 pounds overweight.
He looks pretty lean, though.
He does look pretty lean.
Yeah, he looks pretty lean. I think
does.
he's kind of taking it a little bit more serious.
He does.
And
he's back on his special drink.
It hasn't even tested like a ridiculous amount of time.
Yeah, probably, but
All right, anyway. So I saw that when he fought Uriah Hall, he struggled a lot with that jab. Like the jab kept like stinging him.
Yep.
He just kept kind of like reaching, not really knowing what to do with it. But he has that power sort of equalizer where he just kind of clubs you, and it doesn't have to be that precise or that technical. It's just the force that's coming through. It's just a guy that hits hard, and his kicks are hard, which I feel comes out in the way he trains. Like if you see any videos of him training, it's like kick, 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 go, go, go. And all his punches his pad sessions seem to be very cardio orientated. Like, I'm going to get you tired and you're still going to go. And maybe that's why sometimes his technique isn't as sharp.
I wonder if that just looked like that's why he just looked like he didn't have anything for Marvin Vettori, because like if that's how he's trained, then that's how he's going to fight. That's how he does fight. And then when he'd not been able to prepare like that, or he hadn't prepared like that for Vettori, he couldn't do that. Like he just looked terrible in the Vettori fight. He really did look like flat. Yeah. And I thought it was going to be one or two ways coming off the Adesanya fight. He was either going to come back confident, I can do this, I can beat these guys and get back to the championship, or he's going to realize that Adesanya's level is just so far away from where he's at right now that even if he trains for the next 5 years, he's not going to understand the magic that Adesanya was working on him that night. Yeah. And I think that probably has really shaken his confidence. Matching him up against Vettori was smart because Vittori's not the most finesseful of fighters. So there was always a possibility that you can get, it's like having two sides of beef in the same rodeo place, isn't it? You know what I mean? They just like ran into one another until one of them was going to crumble. And the confidence of Vettori is unshakable.
Yeah, it is.
And the confidence of Paulo Costa, I think, is very, very much kind of teetering on a knife edge. And I think, why this is an interesting fight is because I feel like Rockhold's in the same place.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm not
coming off 2 losses as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Jamie cut us off.
Oh shit! There you go. You're gone. You're gone. Okay. So quick tale of the tape. Let's have a look at this. So 13-2 for Paulo Costa. Obviously coming off those 2 most recent fights being losses. Luke Rockhold 16-5, of course, former world champion, but also those 5 losses are all TKO stoppages or devastating knockouts like the Yoel Romero one. 2-inch height advantage for Rockhold, 5-inch reach advantage for Rockhold. But interestingly, Sean Woodson down the card has a longer reach than both of these dudes.
Of course he does.
Because he's fucking avatar poke with his jab. I'm going to hit you from across the room. Anyway, Rockhold, of course, is southpaw with a very powerful left leg. Paulo Costa's orthodox, and he's much more of a high-volume striker, which is reflected in the striking stats. 6.85 for Costa, 59% accuracy. Takes a lot more shots, though, of course. 80% takedown defense, but then Rockhold is very good at catching things in scrambles.
Yeah, it's really good.
I've done a war room on this, so I don't need to say any more. What do you reckon?
Okay. So I feel this fight has a lot to do with psychological approaches, right? In my opinion, I think Luke Rockhold is technically better, more complete, more of a just more complete fighter.
Yep.
But he has struggled with his mind and his mindset recently. The pressure, and he's talked about it. The pressure was getting to me. I needed to back away. I needed to, and that makes a lot of sense because when you're champion or you're such a big name or a big face, it becomes very daunting for a lot of these fighters. And he was kind of in that place.
Yeah, he was. What was he? Who was he modelling for at the same time? Ralph Lauren. There you go. Like, I mean, you can imagine the kind of pressure on him. Like, I'm a good-looking dude, and I've just got stiffed by Yoel Romero, and I'm gonna go up a weight class. I'm gonna try and reinvigorate, and then he gets stiffed by Jan Blachowicz.
That was beautiful.
It was really nice counter hook.
Yeah.
I don't know where either of these guys' heads are at. I think they're both so fragile in their self opinion that it's a bit of a shootout as to who shows up with the confidence to throw some punches.
Did you see that Paulo Costa got rid of his manager, the Walid dude?
Did he really?
Yeah, I saw it all over. I saw it all over Instagram, and he put his girlfriend. But they didn't on Instagram put like him and his girlfriend. It was Paulo Costa, the boobs of his girlfriend, and then the ass of his girlfriend, like in two divided pictures, and that's just the one.
So just not a full photo of her, just the two body parts.
To make sure you got.
Is that all she is? Is that all she is?
I mean, they're pretty massive, pretty like.
You just have one photo of Paulo Costa's torn bicep, and that's what represents him. Paulo Costa, one torn bicep.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, at least he's not gonna have Walid Ismail like clinging on to him during his post-fight interviews, trying to get his fucking face on the camera.
Yeah.
Looking like a bulldog angry at the wasp in the window. Fucking hell, honestly, that guy. I used to love watching him fight. But he got incredibly offended once when I said something about Paulo Costa. And legitimately, of all the people I've pissed off in MMA, there's only one time I felt like someone was going to hit me with a chair from behind.
Yeah, you told me.
And he is that guy. I went to Fight Island prepared for him to try and jump me. I honestly did.
I remember you telling me before you left.
I'm like, as soon as this guy sees me, he's going to get his fucking ape face on. He's going to run at me. I know it because he was like a pit bull terrier when he was in Pride.
Yeah.
Like I remember his fights. He was always like. The other one that was like that was Ryan Gracie. Ryan Gracie was crazy as well, like wild man eyes. But yeah, anyway, we completely. So he's managed by Tits and Ass now. Is that like a management duo, like a team, like a partnership? Hi, I'm Tits and this is Ass.
Well, they're not gonna leave her on red if she messages somebody on Instagram. Imagine she just messages them.
I wonder if the Tits and the Ass like compete with the better. Who's got the best cleavage. Anyway, let's get back on track here because I've got an interview soon.
Luke Rockhold.
Yes.
What I found in one of his interviews that he was doing that was very strange, right?
Was it gang symbols? With
No. He was like straight looking at the camera and he says, "I see him coming forward. I see him getting hurt. I see me taking advantage of that." Mm-hmm. And then he does this and then that and then just like looks like he doesn't really believe what he's saying and he's like, "And I see me taking his soul." Like he didn't really.
And you have to achieve to believe, or whatever he said at the Bisping press conference. I watched that again the other day. What was I breaking down? It was the Nunes thing, wasn't it? It was about overconfidence.
Yeah.
And I remember going back and going on a little trail, and I'm like, you know what? People get overconfident when they're champions. And then I remember watching that, and it was not even his first title defense. It was his first title defense, sorry. And he was so dismissive of Bisping. It was like. He's like, I beat him before, I beat him again. And it was like, the whole thing was, he's going to try new things. He's going to like use a new technique. It was like it was going to be an easy fight for him. Oh man, I bet that is a psychological hurdle that he has still not managed to get over.
Yeah, he said it. Like, imagine losing the belt to Michael Bisping.
Yeah. And he said that before the fight, before he did.
Yeah.
And then he's at the press conference afterwards like, lost the belt to Michael Bisping. Like, that's it. That's history now.
Yeah.
Yeah, awful. I feel kind of bad for him, but at the same time not because.
Yeah, you know what I found.
Rockhold, isn't I mean, he's a wealthy, successful, talented, good-looking dude, and he's one of the most awkward motherfuckers I've ever met. And same as Paulo Costa. Like he's a lean, muscular, good-looking dude. He's so fucking awkward.
Maybe it's because
he's
they were
attacking
losing
everybody
the
on
hair.
Twitter. He's got his lipstick on front row when he's at the UFC. Like,
Yeah.
what a weird fight this is.
Yeah.
It's like
Anyway.
a Sesame Street headliner.
When Luke Rockhold was fighting Joe Romero,
Yeah.
he was throwing like calf kicks, and then they got checked, and he started bleeding in his shin. And then
Yeah.
he was like really struggling to throw those kicks, and I feel like that was such a main asset in his fight that he didn't really know what to do with it after that. And then when he fought Jan Wahovic,
Yep.
he showed up with that sleeve.
Yep.
And I've seen him train with the sleeve. Of course, they're saying that, to this he's had staph infections
That
and
was
he's
it,
had
yeah.
surgeries and
Staph
stuff.
infection.
But it's kind of a little bit strange that it's right in the same place where he was kicking Joel.
I mean, if he didn't let it heal properly, it would make sense
Yeah.
that it got infected. I mean, staph gets in open wounds.
Yeah.
You know, I got staph once on the side of my foot, and it got into a cut on the side of my foot that had been caused by my flip flops.
Oh, no.
Right, I had a wear and tear flip flop cut on the side of my foot walking up and down Hollywood Boulevard in Havaianas. It's probably my own fault.
Probably. Germs.
Anyway, but then I got staph in that little spot, and it was really not nice.
Yeah, you got pictures?
I haven't got pictures, unfortunately. This was
Everybody with staph always seems to like really need
Yeah.
to show you the damn pictures.
There's one photo
I
of
wanna
staph.
see it.
If you need to warn anybody of staph, there's one photo that everybody needs to see.
Is that the one you showed me?
It's the one of Kevin Randleman on the underside of his arm. Like that should be printed out and put on the wall of the gym. Motherfuckers wear shoes when you go to the toilet. Honestly, it is like a cave that goes into the underside of his arm. And Jamie's going to look it up as soon as the podcast is done.
It's
Kevin
disgusting.
Randleman was an absolute physical specimen, the monster. He was an incredible fighter. But this staph infection that he got was something else. I mean, like, because they cleaned it and drained it, and you could see all the muscle tissue underneath through the skin. Not good. Anyway, so Rockhold's got staph, has he, and his shin where he got cut against.
Yeah, and he had like surgeries and stuff. So when he fought Jan Wahovic, he was wearing that sleeve. And I've seen in training videos, he still wears sleeves on that side. So that must have been because that's such a good asset in his fight. How good that question mark is, how good his kicks are.
Yeah.
Not being able to use it. And Paulo Costa as well, different approach, but also uses kicks. Hard like Thai kicks.
Yeah.
And sometimes he just clubs you and keeps going and gets the finish like that, just from pressure going forward. And Luke Rockhold sometimes finishes his combo and just straight goes back, or isn't as focused on that defense. Like, his attack is still coming. I need to still be focused on it. And he thinks he's out of range.
Which way you go?
This is a hard one. Because Luke Rockhold does look good. I'm going to roll the dice and I'm going to go with Luke Rockhold.
Oh, you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I am. Because I feel like that win from Chito Vera is going to...
Yeah.
It's going to carry him through this fight.
I don't think that's quite as surprising as you think. I think I'm going to go with Luke Rockhold as well. I think he's going to hammer Paulo Costa with that left body kick.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to end up taking him down and subbing him. I could see that
Vittori
happening.
got the back from him over swinging, kind of like came under.
Yeah. I could see him like Kimoring him or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Rockhold's got really good jiu-jitsu. And I think that because he's coming off 2 losses, he's going to be respectful of Paulo Costa and the pressure that he brings. But I also think he feels like he's going to be technically too much for Costa, a little bit too big for him. And Costa's coming off his first 2 losses, and Rockhold's come off losses and come back and won. And we've not seen Costa do that yet.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to take Rockhold. Okay, main event for the welterweight title. Kamaru Usman against Leon Edwards. So Kamaru Usman 20-1 and Leon Edwards 19-3 with 1 no contest. Leon has a 2-inch height advantage. Kamaru has a 2-inch reach advantage. Higher striking output for Usman. Of course, a higher wrestling output, but not a massive amount. 3 takedown average per 15 minutes, 1.48 for Usman. So for Leon, so half the output that Usman has for takedowns, but still a decent output. Higher strike, higher submission average as well. Yeah. Well, I've done a breakdown show on this one. There'll be a war room up on this one, probably a live one. I think I'm going to do a live one. Anyway, What do you reckon? What's your first thought? Tell me your pick and then tell me why.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Why? Because you might change your mind.
No, I don't think I will change my mind. I feel like Kamaru Usman's going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like he's in this current moment that is unbreakable as a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like his mindset is strong. He's confident. He won't get... Like, he'll take risk, but enough, he's doing new things and he's trying to be as exciting as possible. And he's taking some time to heal his hand. But, like, mentally, he's just so strong. So strong. I saw him do an interview with Brett Okamoto, yeah. And, like, it's not like how Luke Rockhold, when he was like, yeah, I'm going to take his soul. And, he was just straight looking at him like, this is a matter of fact. I train hard and there's always going to be a next guy and they're not. And he's not the type of person who like gets bored in a fight. Like if he has to hold you against the fence for 25 minutes.
He'll do what he needs to win.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
He's just a fantastic competitor. A very explosive athlete, great at what he does, but he's also a fantastic competitor. And that's something that I feel sometimes lacks in Leon Edwards. Like he's such a skilled martial artist.
Yeah, but he doesn't go in there to prove anything necessarily. He underperforms a lot, I think, because I know he's a lot better than what he shows. Like in some of his fights, like Nate Diaz, he got caught in the last round because he was coasting, because he was kind of bored. He was like against Cowboy. I feel like he could have put Cowboy out of there. I felt like he could have put RDA out of there. Like I always feel like he's got like a fourth or a fifth gear that he could jump into, and he just never. He just doesn't seem to. And I think it's a benefit for Usman to have fought Leon before, because I think he's going to realize how tough he is to deal with, and he's going to give him a lot more respect. So like, obviously we've seen champions before, like Anderson. He got a bit comfortable, started playing games with Weidman. Nunes against Pena maybe didn't take it quite seriously the first time around or whatever. I don't think that's going to be the case with Usman. And I think that he's moved to a new camp. He's adding new things to his game. So I think he's got that kind of excitement that he's still progressing, even though he's at the top of the sport. I can see it. I can see it being a very frustrating night for Edwards, because I think he's going to expect Usman to try and wrestle him more than he will. And I think Usman's going to strike more than Leon expects.
Yes.
And I think Leon's striking is going to be stifled by the expectation of a takedown.
Yes.
That's my concern for him, because I've been there myself against GSP, and you're like, he's going to level change in a minute. And then you just kind of don't do anything. And what we learned from the first fight is that even when Leon was taken down in the first round, he was close with that triangle. He threatened it. He was, minute 15 on that triangle. He's not out of the fight if it hits the floor, but we also can't count out the idea of Leon taking the grappling to Usman, because I always come back to Koscheck. Koscheck was known as a really good wrestler, and when he fought GSP, it was like, well, I'm a better wrestler than him, so I'm going to work on my striking, and then GSP came out and wrestled him. And because he'd not been working on his wrestling, it kind of slipped. His reactions weren't there quick enough, and I'm not saying that Usman's going to do that because he's working with Gaethje, but Gaethje likes to strike.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's in a gym which is a striking predominant gym with Trevor Whitman. And I would imagine that Usman is going to automatically assume that Leon isn't going to try and wrestle with him, because he's got 100% takedown defense. Of course, people are going to go, well, yeah, Colby took him down. It's not on the stats. I'd have to watch it again and really try and decide whether I would score that as a takedown. But if it's not listed in the stats, it's probably not classed as one. Anyway, I think Leon might, if he's confident and he's willing to roll the dice, I think he'd be smart to try and wrestle and grapple with Usman a bit.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
if you can take him out of his game and surprise him, make him do something that he's not been working on or not been expecting. And Leon's got great submissions as well. I could quite easily see him jumping on Usman's back at some point. It's just that competitiveness. That's the bit he lacks. Because in order to do that, like you remember when Vucenic fought Hendon in Cage Warriors a little while ago, defending his belt.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty competitive first round. Came out in the second round and jumped on him, took his back and choked him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of confidence and competitiveness that you need from Leon if he's going to do anything against Usman. And that's the bit I've yet to see.
Yes.
But then I had the same criticism for Usman on his way to the belt as well. He did the whole "that was me at 30% speech in his post-fight interview. I'm like, why are you coasting?
Yeah, but there's been, I don't know if it's just that Leon Edwards hasn't had that streak of finishes like Usman, because Usman had it later in his career, right? When he became champion, things kind of started to string together. And Leon Edwards, I believe it was his first fight, was the second fastest knockout in UFC.
Yeah, it was.
In welterweight. You know, it was 8 seconds.
I was on that
straight
call.
left, yeah. So I don't think he doesn't have this ability to knock people out. I just think, things happen.
Yeah.
He just, sometimes a knockout is away by a centimeter.
It is.
You're like,
You've also an amount of commitment.
yeah.
Like for example, and this goes back to your competitiveness thing. Leon got opened up by Masvidal in London backstage, and that fight never came to. Even though they got the actual altercation on film. Like, there's no way that shouldn't have happened in an actual fight in the UFC.
Yeah.
Like that Leon should have pushed for that fight. He should have been talking it constantly. But even if that fight had happened, even if Leon was able to outpoint Masvidal, it would have still been a decision win. Because he wasn't going to do what Usman did to Masvidal, clean his clock with one punch. Because he doesn't commit to his punches like that. He did with his elbow against Gunnar Nelson, a little bit against RDA, but still, like Usman throws because he knows he can lean straight into his wrestling afterwards.
Yes.
Whereas if Leon steps forward, he's got to make sure that he's prepared for a sprawl. And that's not ideal, especially when you're fighting someone you know is going to level change, which is what's going to make him tentative. I would love to see Leon do it. Genuinely, I would. No disrespect to Usman. I think he's a great champion. Of course, I want to see Leon get that belt around his waist just for the sake of having another UK champion. It would be really good for this region. But I just think, like you said, I think Usman's right at the top of his game right now.
Yeah, he's just reached a point of...
Yeah. It's going to be... I mean, you look down the rankings, and I would say he's probably got another 2 or 3 title defences. It wouldn't surprise me if he moves up. I know he's talked about light heavyweight, but I also could see Adesanya losing his belt in the next couple of fights. And then we might see Usman move up and try for the middleweight belt.
Yeah, because
imagine if Alex beats him. Usman could quite easily go straight up to middleweight and fight Alex for the belt.
That would be interesting.
I could see it happening. But then you look down the welterweight division. Covington, no. Edwards, perhaps. We'll know after this weekend. Chimaev's at number 3. Scary dude. Who's fighting Nate Diaz, who is... Oh, hang on a minute. He's not ranked. That's some bullshit. Anyway, Gilbert Burns at number 4. Nope. Bilal Muhammad, don't see him beating Kamaru Usman. Stephen Thompson's on the downturn of his career. Sean Brady potentially, but he needs another fight or 2 at least before he's up at the belt. And then after that, Jeff Neal's looking good, but then Masvidal, Vicente Luque's just coming off a loss, and then you're into the top 15 after that. I could definitely see Usman defending his belt against Leon, and then I don't know. I mean, if they give him Chimaev, I think I'd rather go up and fight Alex. If I was a wrestler, I think I'd rather take the chance of taking another belt at a weight class above, than risk losing it to Chimaev at welterweight.
Yeah, but Chimaev does get a little bit drawn into a fight,
for sure.
Like what he did with Gilbert Burns.
For sure. We'll see how it goes against Nate. I mean, I think he's gonna beat the hell out of him, to be honest. And if he does that, we're going to see him in a title shot next, because that's got money all over it, even though it doesn't make a lot of sense compared to some of the other guys in the division. It will make a lot of sense. I think if Usman wins against Leon, he's going to be quietly hopeful for Adesanya to lose his belt so he can go and have a crack at it without fighting Adesanya.
Yeah, because he won't want to do that.
No. He'd have a good shot against Adesanya, I think.
Yeah.
I just don't know if he's physically big enough for middleweight, Like, he's got a decent reach, but he's 6 foot, 76 inches. I mean,
says Kamaru Usman is 6 foot.
Yeah, apparently. I don't think he's
not 6 foot. I have stood next to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's
anyway.
not 6 foot.
Anyway, I think Usman's going to do it. I think it's going to be a decision. I think Leon's going to give a really good account of himself. But
do you think maybe he cuts him? Do you think maybe Leon is able to cut him with an elbow to where it, like, if Usman sees that he's bleeding, it might draw him out into something?
Maybe. It's going to be hard to cut him or hurt him, I think. Yeah. It's going to be a hard fight for Leon to do anything to Usman. I can just see him being too hesitant to throw because he's expecting Usman to level change. Mm-hmm. And then Usman's beating him at striking as well. What
about his teeps and his back left leg?
Yeah, potentially.
He uses it really well.
He does. He does use that. I mean, he used the front kick in the first fight really well, but I don't know. I think they've both improved dramatically, but I think Usman's just found his groove right now.
Yeah, he just found it.
Yeah.
Like ate a mushroom type of thing, like
Super Mario one.
Yeah, I don't know. Something like that. I didn't play a lot of these games. I don't know.
Okay. So we're both going for Usman?
Yes.
Yeah. Although good luck to Leon. I am hoping you prove me wrong.
Well, how long has Leon been training with that coach that I really like?
Oh, I don't know. Not very long though. Not very long, but although he has been working with Camby a long time, who's a fantastic wrestling coach.
Yes.
Anyway, you're not going to change my mind. I've thought about this fight too much, and I just think it's so difficult to get the belt off Usman at this stage from anybody. For anybody.
Same.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for Leon Edwards, he has Usman right in the way.
Yeah.
If not, I feel like he would be champion.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Right, well, before we leave it here, make sure you check out our sponsors for this one. The Crystal Council. Go and check out all their treasures on their website. They've got all kinds of really cool stuff. Jewelry and stones and minerals and all kinds of earth treasures. Go and check them out at thecrystalcouncil.com. And our other gracious sponsors, Canna Carts. Go and check out their new flavours. There's 4 new flavours. Guava Gelato, Tangerine Dream, Rainbow Belts, and Super Lemon. And you can either get the full setup like this, or you can get the refill cartridges for a smaller amount of money. And if you use the code OUTLAWCBD, you'll get £5 off your order. So make sure you check them out. And enjoy the fights for UFC 278.
That's the one.
Got there in the end. All right, catch you next time.